Well, well, well. Look who's been hiding in plain sight. Look who's been walking through crowds undetected, unread, underestimated. You gorgeous, unknowable, perfectly disguised force of nature. Welcome back. Or maybe I should say, welcome to the greatest advantage you never knew you had. But before we go any further, real quick, if this channel has ever made you feel something, if these words have ever hit different at 2 in the morning when no one else understood, then you already know this isn't just content. This is a movement. And right now this channel is demonetized. No ads, no revenue, just raw truth. So I wrote a book for you called The Joker Doctrine. Self-improvement, human psychology, everything you need to master the game. The link is in the description. Your support keeps this alive. Now, back to you. Because if you're still here, still watching, still breathing after everything they threw at you, then you already know what this is. This is the moment you realize that being invisible wasn't a curse, it was a weapon. This is the moment you understand that every person who looked at you and saw nothing missed everything. And oh, we're about to prove that in ways that'll leave them speechless. Let me tell you something that's going to hit you so hard, you'll feel it in your bones. No one knows who you really are. Not your family, not your friends, not your enemies. Not the people who sleep next to you. Not the people who smile at you every morning. Not the people who think they've figured you out over coffee and casual conversation. Nobody, not a single soul on this earth has seen the full picture. And that single truth is the most dangerous, most beautiful, most powerful thing about you. Because in a world where everyone is desperate to be seen, desperate to be understood, desperate to be validated by strangers on the internet, you chose silence. You chose depth over display. You chose to build in the dark while they performed in the light. And now you're sitting on a throne they don't even know exists. A throne built from every tear they never saw, every sacrifice they never witnessed, every quiet decision they'll never understand. Let's talk about what they think they know, shall we? Because they think they've got you figured out, don't they? They've built a version of you in their heads. A comfortable version, a manageable version, a predictable, controllable, easy to dismiss version that lets them sleep at night. They've decided who you are based on the pieces you allowed them to see. The quiet moments, the polite smiles, the measured responses, the careful silences, the way you nod instead of argue, the way you listen instead of interrupt, the way you absorb instead of explode. And they took those fragments, those tiny, deliberately curated fragments, and assembled a person who doesn't exist. A person who is smaller than you are, weaker than you are, less ambitious than you are, less intelligent than you are, less dangerous than you are. And you brilliant, patient, terrifyingly strategic creature, you let them believe their own fiction. You let them sleep peacefully in their assumptions. Because you understood something they never will. The moment people think they know you, they stop watching. The moment they feel comfortable, they stop guarding. The moment they underestimate you, they've already lost, and they don't even know the game started. Think about that for a second. Really let it sink into every fiber of your being. Every person who ever dismissed you, overlooked you, talked over you, passed you by, chose someone louder, someone flashier, someone more performative, they made a critical error. A fatal, irreversible, catastrophic miscalculation. They mistook your silence for emptiness. They mistook your patience for weakness. They mistook your restraint for inability. They mistook your calm for surrender. And that mistake, that beautiful, irreversible, world-shattering mistake, is the reason you're ahead of them right now. Not by inches, not by feet, by miles, by entire dimensions they can't even perceive. Because while they were busy performing their success, broadcasting their strength, advertising their intelligence to anyone who would double tap, you were absorbing, learning, calculating, processing, evolving, growing in directions they'll never map, in depths they'll never dive, in ways they'll never comprehend. You became a library they never bothered to open, an ocean they thought was a puddle, a storm they mistook for a breeze, a universe they thought was a room, and now it's too late. Too late to catch up, too late to recalibrate, too late to undo the damage of their own breathtaking arrogance. The gap is permanent. Now, let's peel back the layers, because this goes deeper than most people are ready for. Being unknown isn't just a social advantage, it's a psychological fortress. An impenetrable, unbreachable, infinitely layered fortress that no amount of gossip, no amount of investigation, no amount of probing questions can ever penetrate. When no one knows who you are, no one knows what you're capable of, no one knows your limits, no one knows your plans, no one knows your next move. No one knows your true capacity for brilliance or your true threshold for endurance. And that uncertainty, that beautiful, terrifying, maddening uncertainty, is the most powerful currency in any room you enter. Because people fear what they can't predict. People respect what they can't measure. People obsess over what they can't understand. And you've become all three simultaneously. Unpredictable, unmeasurable, unknowable. Not because you're hiding, but because you're so deep that the surface they see is just the tip of something they'll never fully comprehend. That's not deception, that's depth. And depth terrifies people who've spent their entire lives living on the surface, performing for cameras, begging for attention. You see, most people are open books, wide open, pages flapping in the wind for anyone to read. They tell you their plans before they execute them. They announce their goals before they've taken the first step. They broadcast their emotions before they've even processed them themselves. They hand out their vulnerabilities like business cards at a networking event, smiling while they do it. And then they wonder why people use those vulnerabilities against them. They wonder why their plans get sabotaged. They wonder why their enemies always seem one step ahead. They wonder why the world keeps punishing their openness. But you learned the lesson they never did. The lesson that cost you something they'll never understand. You learned that silence is strategy, that mystery is armor, that the less they know about you, the more power you hold. And you didn't learn this from a book. You didn't learn it from a podcast. You didn't learn it from a motivational speaker. You learned it from pain, from betrayal, from the exact moment someone you trusted, someone you gave everything to, took every piece of information you shared and weaponized it against you with surgical precision. And in that moment, in that shattering, clarifying, brutal, life-altering moment, you made a decision that changed everything. Never again. Never again would someone have the full blueprint. Never again would someone hold enough information to destroy what you've built. And that decision, that quiet, internal, soul-restructuring decision, is exactly why you're untouchable right now. Let me paint you a picture of what they're missing. Because the gap between who they think you are and who you actually are, that gap is not a crack. It's a canyon. It's a universe. It's the distance between the surface of the ocean and the deepest trench on the planet floor. They see someone quiet. They don't see the mind that never stops calculating, never stops analyzing, never stops 3 moves ahead of every conversation. They see someone calm. They don't see the fire that's been burning for years, controlled, contained, compressed, directed with the kind of surgical precision that would make a general jealous. They see someone simple. They don't see the complexity, the layers upon layers, the contradictions, the depth that would take a lifetime to unravel and still leave questions unanswered. They see someone who doesn't say much. They don't realize that every word you do say has been chosen, weighed, measured, tested, and deployed with the kind of intention most people don't apply to their biggest decisions. You're not quiet because you have nothing to say. You're quiet because you have too much to say and you've learned, the hard way, the expensive way, the blood and scar tissue way, that most people don't deserve to hear it. That's not arrogance. That's wisdom. Expensive, hard-earned, irreplaceable wisdom that came at a price they'll never pay. And the things they can't see, oh, those things would terrify them if they ever caught a glimpse. They can't see the nights you spent rebuilding yourself from absolutely nothing, brick by brick, thought by thought, breath by breath. They can't see the battles you fought inside your own mind, against your own doubts, against your own demons, and won every single round. They can't see the darkness you walked through without a flashlight, without a guide, without a single person cheering you on, and came out the other side carrying light in your bare hands. They can't see the promises you made to yourself in the silence of your lowest moments, promises that most people would have broken by breakfast, promises you've been keeping every single day since. They can't see the discipline that starts before sunrise and continues after midnight, the sacrifice that doesn't get posted, doesn't get praised, doesn't get acknowledged. The relentless, unglamorous, invisible, soul-crushing grind that turned you into who you are right now. All they see is the finished product, the calm exterior, the measured responses, the person who seems to have it all figured out. But they don't know what it cost you. They don't know what you gave up. They don't know what you survived. And honestly, they don't deserve to know, because that knowledge is sacred. It's yours alone. And sharing it with people who haven't earned the right to hold it would cheapen everything you've been through. Now let's talk about what this does to them, because your mystery, your depth, your complete and total unknowability, it's eating them alive, slowly, methodically, cell by cell, and they'll never admit it, not in 1,000 years. But you can see it, can't you? You can see it in the way they study you when they think you're not looking. The sideways glances, the lingering stares, the way their eyes follow you across a room like you're a puzzle they can't put down. You can see it in the way they ask questions that aren't really questions. They're investigations. So what have you been up to lately? That's not curiosity. That's surveillance. How's everything going with you? That's not concern. That's intelligence gathering. You seem different. What changed? That's not a compliment, that's a probe. They're trying to read you, trying to crack the code, trying to find the edges of who you are so they can feel comfortable again, so they can put you back in that little box they built for you, because your peace disturbs them, your silence unnerves them. Your complete and total lack of need for their approval, their attention, their validation, it keeps them up at night. They need you to be readable. They need you to be predictable. They need you to fit neatly into the box they constructed. But you outgrew that box a long, long time ago. And they're still holding the lid, staring at the empty space, wondering where you went. Here's the thing about people who can't figure you out. They have exactly two choices. They can respect you, or they can resent you. And most of them, the overwhelming majority of them, choose resentment every single time. Because respect requires humility. Respect requires admitting that someone else might be operating on a level they can't reach, in a frequency they can't tune into. And their ego, their fragile, overinflated, paper-thin ego, won't allow that. So instead, they mock what they can't understand. They dismiss what they can't replicate. They label what they can't define. They call you weird, antisocial, detached, cold, stuck up, too quiet, too mysterious, too intense, too much, not enough. And every single one of those labels, every single attempted insult, every single dismissive word tells you the exact same thing. They're scared, terrified, shaking in places they'll never show you, scared of what they can't control, scared of what they can't predict. Scared of someone who doesn't need their approval to breathe, to function, to thrive, to exist entirely without them. And that fear, that deep, visceral, bone-rattling, unshakable fear, is the highest compliment they will ever pay you in their entire lives. even if they don't know they're paying it. Let me take you deeper, because there's a layer here most people miss entirely. The person you are today. The one no one knows, the one no one can read, the one no one can predict. That person was built intentionally, deliberately, consciously. You didn't stumble into this. You didn't accidentally become unreadable. No, you chose this. With every fiber of your being, you chose this. You chose to stop giving people the ammunition to hurt you. You chose to stop performing your pain for an audience that feeds on it like entertainment. You chose to stop explaining yourself to people who were committed, invested, dedicated to misunderstanding you no matter what you said. And that choice, that quiet, revolutionary, soul-defining, life-restructuring choice, changed everything. It changed how you move through the world, how you speak and when you don't, how you think and what you share, how you process pain, how you protect your energy, how you love, how you trust, how you fight, and when you choose not to. You stopped being reactive and became strategic. You stopped being emotional and became intentional. You stopped being available to everyone and became selective about who deserves access. And the world around you noticed. They didn't understand it, but they felt the shift in the air. They felt the temperature change. They felt the wall go up, the moat fill, the drawbridge rise. And it confused them deeply. Because the old you, the version they were comfortable with, the version they could manipulate, predict, and control, that version was accessible, readable, manageable. But this version, this new, evolved, fortified, battle-hardened version, this version plays a different game entirely. A game they haven't learned. A game they can't learn. A game that's already over for them, and they just don't know it yet. And here's what's beautiful about this evolution. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. There was no announcement, no confrontation, no Instagram post about new energy, no public declaration of war. You just changed. Quietly, gradually, permanently, irreversibly. One day, you stopped sharing everything with everyone. One day, you stopped reacting to every provocation, every slight, every passive-aggressive comment. One day, you stopped caring about the opinions of people who hadn't earned the right to have one about you. And they didn't notice until it was too late, until the distance was too wide to cross, until the version they knew was gone, permanently retired, never coming back. And now they're grieving a person who isn't dead, just awakened. They're mourning access they didn't earn. They're missing a version of you that only existed because you hadn't yet learned your own worth, your own power, your own magnificent capacity for reinvention. But you've learned it now, and there's no going back. There's no returning to the version that gave everything away for free. That version served its purpose. That version was the tuition you paid for the education you now carry. That version taught you, at the highest possible cost, what happens when you're too open, too honest, too available, too trusting, too generous with people who don't deserve a drop of what you offered them oceans of. And now you carry those lessons like armor, not to hide who you are, but to protect something precious, something irreplaceable, something they will never, ever deserve to touch again unless they've proven, beyond any shadow of doubt, that they'll handle it with the kind of care it demands. Now let's talk about what happens when you walk into a room, because something has changed, hasn't it? Something has shifted in the energy around you. Something you can't quite name, but everyone can feel. You walk in, and people sense it before they see it. Not arrogance, not aggression, not performance. Something else entirely. Something quieter but infinitely heavier. A presence, a gravitational pull, a frequency that tells people on a subconscious level, beneath conscious thought, beneath rational analysis. This person is not to be underestimated. This person carries something. This person has survived something. This person knows something the rest of us don't. And they can't explain it. They can't point to it. They can't articulate it in any way that makes sense, but they feel it. They feel it in the way you don't rush to speak when everyone else is filling silence with noise. They feel it in the way you observe before you engage, study before you participate, calculate before you commit. They feel it in the way you hold silence like it's a loaded weapon you're choosing not to fire. They feel it in the way your calmness makes their chaos look amateur, their drama look childish, their noise look desperate. And that presence, that unshakable, unmistakable, absolutely unfakeable presence, that's the result of everything you've been through. That's the energy of someone who has survived their own destruction and rebuilt from the atoms up. That's the aura of someone who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, because the proof is in every step they take, every silence they hold, every breath they release. You know what's funny? The people who talk the most are usually hiding the most. The people who perform the loudest are usually the emptiest inside. The people who need to tell you who they are, who announce their greatness like a commercial break, who introduce themselves with their achievements, usually aren't who they claim to be. But you don't tell anyone anything. You don't announce. You don't declare. You don't perform. And that silence, that refusal to self-promote, that total and complete absence of desperation, it speaks louder than every speech they've ever rehearsed. Because people don't trust volume. Not really. Not when it matters. People trust depth. People don't trust performance. People trust consistency. People don't trust the ones who announce their greatness from rooftops. They trust the ones who demonstrate it without saying a single, solitary word. And that's exactly what you've been doing. Demonstrating, not declaring. Proving, not promising. Building, not broadcasting. Creating, not complaining. And now the results are starting to show. Not in a single dramatic moment, not in a viral announcement, not in a flashy reveal, but in the slow, steady, undeniable, unstoppable shift of everything around you. People are starting to notice things they can't explain. Opportunities appearing from what seems like nowhere. Doors opening without visible effort. Respect arriving without request, without demand, without performance. And they're confused. Deeply, uncomfortably confused. Because they didn't see you grind at 3 in the morning. They didn't see you sacrifice the things they couldn't live without. They didn't see you bleed in private, heal in silence, rebuild in darkness. All they see is the result. And the result looks like magic. But it's not magic, it's mathematics. It's the cold, beautiful equation of years of invisible effort producing visible, undeniable, permanent results. And that equation doesn't lie. Not ever. Now let's address the ones who left. The ones who walked away. The ones who looked at you. At the quiet version. At the reserved version. At the version that wasn't performing for their entertainment and decided you weren't worth staying for. Let's talk about them, because they deserve a very special mention in this chapter of your story. They left because they thought your silence meant you had nothing to offer them. They left because your depth made them uncomfortable, made them feel shallow by comparison. They left because your refusal to perform, to beg, to chase, to prove yourself felt like rejection to their ego. And now they're watching from a distance, scrolling through what little you post, asking mutual friends about you with forced casualness, trying to piece together the puzzle they voluntarily, arrogantly, carelessly walked away from, and it's killing them. Because they're starting to realize, slowly and painfully, that the person they left wasn't the person they thought they were leaving. They thought they were leaving behind someone ordinary, someone forgettable, someone easily replaceable with the next shiny distraction. But now they're seeing a truth they can't unsee. And the truth is, you were the rarest thing they ever held in their hands, and they dropped you like common glass. That mistake will echo for the rest of their lives, not because you're vengeful, but because rare things don't come around twice. And they know it, they feel it. They carry that knowledge like a stone in their chest that gets heavier every single day.